Hi, I'm Simon, co-founder at Charles & Dean, and I'm here with Tommy and Alex. Alex is one of our motor brokers in our car finance team from the London office, and Tommy is, well, I'm sure a lot of you know who Tommy is, but Tommy is a customer of ours. Yeah. We've been working together for a number of years, and he's also a C&D ambassador, and great to have Tommy on board. Great for you to come up to HQ today as well, so thank you for that.
No worries.
I guess what I'd like to do is talk all things 918.
Yes.
I know it's a favourite of mine. It's a favourite of yours.
It is a favourite of mine.
You've got one, I don't.
Yet.
So it'd be great to discuss that. And I thought also it would be good to let everyone know how we started working together, because it's been a very organic relationship over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first time that I heard from Alex, I think I was just looking around at buying cars. It was very early on in my social media career and in my entertainment career. Alex was very proactive in assisting me in looking for cars, and through Charles & Dean, I learned that you can actually fund cars outside of a dealer network, because I actually didn't know that before. So I was able to curate my collection exactly how I wanted it to be, in a way that was beneficial to my financial situation, which was really good. And it's just, again, it's organically developed into a relationship where I can speak to Alex literally all times of the day. It is literally all times. Yeah. I'll just send him a car at night and I'll be like, Alex, what do you think of this? And he'll be like, oh, da, da, da. And I'll be like, oh, can I get some numbers? And then we'll go back and forth, and then we'll decide, oh yeah, this might be something that you really enjoy, or maybe there's other options. So it's been good. And then I've introduced Alex to a bunch of my friends, my mum as well. You met my mum. Yeah, he found my mum a wicked car that I would have never thought of looking at. So yeah, the relationship's just, since I met the team and since I met yourself and I met Alex, I have felt confident and I felt reassured, because not only just the professionalism, but it's also on a human level. Like, you really take time to invest in me as a person. So yeah, it's been great.
It's great to hear. I mean, I don't want it to be an infomercial about C&D, but I think, what you said about Alex being there 24/7.
Yeah.
All the guys that we have in our motor finance team, our car finance team, are petrol heads.
Yeah.
So, the reason that you're looking at Auto Trader at 11 o'clock at night is because you love cars, right? And that's why Alex is there to engage with you at that time as well, because he also loves cars. Yeah. And I think that whole consultative approach is something that we've tried to get right from day one. We've always, you as a customer, we want longevity. We want to be there. We want to help you with your decision making. We want to provide context to what we know, because obviously we're funding 150, 200 cars a month.
Yeah.
So we see lots of different figures. So when you're looking at, whatever car it might be, Alex can draw on his experience for the other 4 or 5 that he's funded this year or this month, and provide a bit of context around what you're looking at. So it's great that you've experienced that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your audience has grown massively since.
Yeah, since then my audience has grown a huge amount. So it's been nice to just be on this journey together, Yeah. And it's just, I always feel quite reassured that I have someone that's willing to discuss it with me and go into the nitty gritty of cars with me, because they are ultimately big decisions, and you don't want to make a purchase just out of pure emotion. You want to use your head as well, and Alex helps me to use my head when I'm making these decisions. So yeah, no, it's really great.
So this was your biggest decision, right?
Yeah, massively, yeah.
So just talk to me a little bit, Tommy, about the decision process to get to the 918. So you wanted to buy a hypercar, or something which has a bit more investment grade, a bit more of an investment grade profile. What was that decision process like? Was it always 918? I know you put a video out, you were looking at a couple of different cars, but in the bottom of your heart, did you know it was always going to be 918, or were you really seriously considering others?
So I think Alex will attest to this. Initially, it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it must have been about 2 years ago.
We spoke about the 918, and then I was out of curiosity, because it seems like such a daunting value for just a car, and it seems like a massive commitment. But I thought, you know what,
because it's a seven-figure purchase.
Yeah, it's a seven-figure purchase, so it's like buying a really nice house. But I wasn't sure how accessible that would be to me and what it would look like. So I remember sending it to Alex, and then Alex came up with some numbers, and then I was like, this is actually something that I can do. It's affordable, and it makes sense, because the 918, in my opinion, is a car that we are going to see just go up. Do you know what I mean? It's a car that was made in limited numbers. It was a halo car. It was a part of a very significant time in the motor industry when they had the Holy Trinity. So initially I was like, 918 is exactly the car I want. So like I said, it was 2 years ago. And over those 2 years, we spoke about it probably like once a week. Like 918, we went to look at a few cars as well. And then I think more recently, I thought, you know what? I really like the 918. Let me look at what else is available in a similar range. So then I started looking at the McLaren P1, and then I started looking at, Bugatti Veyrons. And then I thought, okay, let me bring it down a bit and look at things like the McLaren Senna, just to see where we are. And I think every single time I would look at another car, it would just reaffirm it to me that the 918 is the right car, because you look at cost of ownership, cost of purchase, and predicted future value. There's nothing else in that space. And then also, it's a Porsche. I love Porsches. They're reliable. They're great cars to drive. And I think it's like the true enthusiast brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant car. So you started looking at 2 years ago. Had you seen much movement in price from like day one to when you bought it?
I wish I bought it 2 years ago when I first started looking at it. So I think they've appreciated since then, maybe about 200,000, around 200,000 for a similar spec.
100 grand a year.
Yeah, we were looking at lower spec cars we were looking at higher spec cars with lower mileage, and they were cheaper than what I paid for the car we got this year.
Right.
So yeah, it essentially cost like about 100 grand a year in just waiting to make that decision.
Yeah. You forget that bit there, right?
Yeah. All I'm thinking is, okay, it cost me 100 grand a year in the last year, so it just makes sense that it will go up in value, and hopefully I'll catch up,
Well, it confirmed it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 years, at least you know.
Exactly, know exactly what's going on with the car. And I think as those years passed, there was also other influences in like the car market in general, the new cars. There's people are a lot more accepting to hybrid cars now, obviously, because the 918 is a hybrid car. And I think that people realize that if you want like a true raw experience, those cars are like, not only were they the beginning of that hybrid supercar or hypercar era, but they're the ones that did it with the most emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And those other cars that you were considering, have you been tracking those over the 2 years? Did they sort of follow a similar?
Yeah, so I had been tracking the P1 and I had been tracking the Veyron. The Veyron, for me, it was going up and down. And to me, that doesn't give me enough confidence to think, okay, this is something that I want to commit to at this moment in time. So I thought I'll leave that till later and just see what it goes on like. The McLaren P1, it's kind of just stayed where it was then.
Yeah.
If anything, the prices have kind of settled because there was a massive disparity in prices.
Yeah.
And then the maintenance cost on the P1 is significantly greater than the 918. So I think that influenced the slowdown in terms of how it was appreciated.
Yeah.
Whereas 918, I think people have realized, look, you can get a car that costs the same as like a 911 turbo to maintain.
Yeah.
But it's appreciating like a P1, it's appreciating like a Veyron did, so it's the accessible hypercar.
Yeah.
It's the I would like to say it's the thinking man's choice when you're buying a hypercar.
I would say so. Yeah. And it's the most usable out of the Trinity as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And there's a lot of 918s out there that have been driven. I've seen one that has over 40,000 miles.
Yeah.
I've seen 20,000 mile examples, and it shows that you can get in the car, you can drive it, and you can sell the car and get out pretty much like with free motoring, which is nice.
I guess, if the Veyron has been pushing the market up, it's probably testing new prices.
Yeah.
But if it's coming down, there's that volatility there and it's not managing to push up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got the smoother appreciation curve of the 918, that would, from an investment point of view, probably be considered the better thing too.
Yeah, it's the least risk because the curve was so smooth. There wasn't a situation where I saw a massive drop or even a subtle drop. It just kept going up and up.
Or stagnation.
Yeah, there was no stagnation, and it was for me the curve is even greater than the curve that we saw with the Carrera GT, which initially took a fall, whereas the 918s didn't take a fall. They just kept going up. So that gave me the confidence. And then again, going back to the maintenance cost, it is literally the same as running a 911 Turbo S or a GT3 RS.
Yeah.
It's the same. The tires are the exact same size on a GT3 RS, so you don't have to get bespoke tires or bespoke wheels. It's just, logically speaking, the best choice for me. And I think what I would recommend people look at and weigh up if they're looking to buy a hypercar, because of the accessibility and the confidence you can have in the brand and the car.
It's also the prettiest as well, but I know I'm probably biased on that. But
I think that as well.
Yeah.
I think it's aged the best out of the Holy Trinity, the LaFerrari and the P1, great cars.
Yeah.
I think when the 918 came out, people said it looked quite soft, it looked quite simple, but that has allowed it to age well, whereas the other two look older now.
So when we're funding cars like this, Alex, obviously we've funded, many cars that are sort of over seven figures. When Tommy's sending you through 918s over the last 2 years, different cars and the Veyron and the LaFerrari and P1, what are you looking at? Why do you think it's worth from a finance point of view? I don't want to get too detailed around this, but why is it more accessible for Tomi?
I think the main area has been with residual values that the banks have considered. Obviously, with the panel of lenders that we do have, it does vary. But for the panel of lenders we've been looking at for Tomi, they have seen, certainly the 918 has been one of those, where it's been anticipated the prices are either going to held or increase. And I think that confidence is what's made that payment a lot more accessible in terms of residual value on the package we were able to procure for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what swayed your mind. I mean, you were comfortable. It's amazing. We were comfortable with sort of the monthly payments that we've been able to achieve. And I think having that confidence from the bank as much sort of almost swayed your decision in the end.
Yeah, it's a reassurance. And I think it's really telling where I had my Lamborghini Revuelto, I had my Ferrari Purosangue, and the 918 cost more than both of those cars combined, but it costs less a month to own.
Right, wow.
So to me, that just shows that, okay,
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's just, this is the right choice. It will be like you're shopping around for like maybe like a house, and then you get a house double the value and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It just made more sense to me.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think I think it massively helps when you're getting that third opinion. I mean, obviously, we'll obviously procure, put packages in front of you in that instance. But I think when you've got the bank confidence showing you what figure they're willing to put against it, the people that are lending you that money, I think that really does speaks volumes when you're looking at that. And I think that's massively helped.
Yeah,
it's interesting because obviously, if people are interested in this video, they will probably understand the depreciation curve. But for most people, they don't really look at that, right? They just look at the ticket price. But I think, understanding depreciation, understanding holding costs, which obviously you've gone into a lot of detail around, they're really important things to be aware of.
Yes.
And not just look at that headline cost. You would think that, the Ferrari, for example, it's costing you more on a monthly basis. Yeah. But that's obviously because of the depreciation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one thing that I've really been helped by Alex to look at the depreciation curve on cars and trying to understand it more from where the residual value lies in them. So now, often when I look at a car, one of the first things I think of is like, okay, so in 5 years and I've done this many miles, what do I think this car will be worth? Yeah. And that allows me to make better decisions and make easier decisions as well, because like for the 918, it was just like, so it was a no-brainer for me. Whereas there's other cars that I've like fallen in love with, and then I look at it and be like, then we get the numbers back and I'm like, maybe it's not the right one.
Yeah, but even within the 918s we were looking at, it was amazing the variance that we saw. And again, that came down to number of owners, mileage, specification. Yeah. Again, our banks go that one step further than your standard computer generated figure, being looking at that, and they'll include that in the valuations that they provide. And that's made a big difference for you as well, finding a very well cared for example.
And I think that gave me the reassurance on top again, because when we found the car, right, and Alex told me, okay, they want to do their own inspection of the car. That made me feel reassured that, okay, cool. I've looked at the car, other people looked at the car, but now the funder, the lender is looking at the car. It just made me think that, yeah, this is the right one.
So you've had it for a few months?
Yeah.
As good as you expected?
It's better than I expected.
Brilliant.
I honestly thought that, I thought it would be good, but I thought, okay, it's a 10-year-old car. Technology's moved on a long way since then. But I've said this many times, it drives better than a lot of my modern cars. Yeah. And because it was pre-regulation, it was when things were still very raw and emotional, it still has that element to it. So every time I get in it, I just end up smiling. Like, it's an incredible experience.
Good. I'm really glad that you're enjoying it still. And I'd love to have a go in it.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So what's next on the horizon? Like, you're in for another supercar or a hypercar. What are you going for now? Next?
I've been looking at hypercars. There's the obvious choices. There's the Bugattis. Like the Chiron is like a car that I've always loved. So I'm looking at the market and seeing if there's a point where it becomes accessible
Yeah.
and a point where it becomes, where it makes sense to get. But outside of that, there's actually a new car that's coming out, which is the Aston Martin Valhalla, which is a big unknown because it's not out yet. But I drove it.
Looks stunning.
I drove it a few weeks ago. Incredible car. So I've got my eyes set on that, my heart set on it as well. But I'm just keeping my brain. So I'm already talking to Alex about it. So we're trying to see where the market's going to go and then make the decision.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tommy.
No worries. Thanks for having me.